Hi, this is Kurt Hayes. Thanks for stopping by my YouTube video campaign site. This video includes excerpts from the Community Consortium Debate that took place in Ayer on Monday, August 6th. Thanks for stopping by, and be sure to go to kurthayes.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hayes.
Good evening. I appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight. My name is Kurt Hayes. I'm a husband, father of 3 young children, and a businessman with a long and ongoing career at IBM. Like 52% of the voters in the district, and 60% when you start looking at towns like Ayer and surrounding communities, I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I'm an independent. I'm not running on a party line. I don't have special interests. My only reason for running is so that you will be heard in Congress. You are the 52% of the voters who are not Republicans or Democrats. You're fed up with the partisan bickering that's taken over in Washington, and you're fed up with the party line that's taken over the special interests in your parties. You are also moderate Democrat Republicans who are looking for an alternative. You know, I will say to you tonight that I'm the only candidate who can sit up here and tell you that I am on the ballot on October 16th. If we were to have this debate on September 5th, many of those at the table won't be here. I will be here on October 16th, and I appreciate the opportunity to earn your vote.
Mr. Hayes.
Thank you. Yes, I would absolutely support that, and my number one job going to Congress would be to find out from the constituents what are the needs of the 29 towns and cities, and how do I best bring money home for our district to get those projects done. Now, as I've met voters, I've been asked, as an independent, what are you going to be able to do in the House? You're going to be one, there's going to be Democrats and Republicans. Are you going to be able to work with them? My theory and understanding is right now, the House is very divided. So both Republicans and Democrats are going to want to work with that independent. Some days they may think I'm voting as a Democrat, other times as a Republican. But I will be involved in the process. And mark my words, if an independent goes into the House from Massachusetts, the rest of the country will take note. And in 2008, the elections in just a year and a half, you can see 20 or 30 independents go into the House, and suddenly you're going to have a huge shift in the power base. Republicans and Democrats will both have to work with those independents and moderates in the middle. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hayes.
Mr. Hayes. While it's true that we are a nation of immigrants, we are also a nation of laws. So I do not support an immigration bill that provides a path to citizenship or amnesty. For me, the issue begins with the fact that laws were broken. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to go round up 12 million people and send them out tomorrow. Just like we do with local law enforcement and other law enforcement who might encounter a deadbeat dad or someone who's wanted in another state. If there is a national database of people who are here legally and people who are outside the system are encountered by those law enforcement, they need to be turned over to the proper authorities for the processing of the law. We also do need to prosecute the business owners. If they're hiring and exploiting these workers, they need to be made example of. That will help clear up some of the demand side of this. And also, of course, we need to work on border security. The last thing I'd say is, as I met voters, a lot of them in places like the Ayer transfer station, it was those immigrants that got here the correct way that were most loud in telling me that's their position. Thank you. So I understand very well the challenges that we all face every year when we come to our town meetings for another override. The problem is huge, and we need more resources at the town level. When we do get decimated with things like the special education budget, for example, depending on what's going on in your school system, that can either help your local budget or decimate it. So we need to bring that up to more of a state and federal level where those can be absorbed. Because we've seen what happens every time we get hit at the local level. Now, as far as addressing the problem of disadvantaged school systems, I think what we need to start focusing on more in this country is the teacher issue. Right now, everything is based on tenure. We need to pay the teachers more based on the needs and the skills. We need math and science teachers. We can't pay them the same necessarily as a general teacher because those folks have opportunity to go to other businesses. Thank you.
Thank you. Me that
fully support folks that are relying on Social Security for their retirement, for the baby boomer generation. We have to keep that promise. And then as far as people not knowing necessarily what to do with their money, there is a lot of education that will be available for that. And plus, I mean, there are certain very safe investments, someone get the bonds or a savings account where there is a guaranteed rate that can at least keep up with inflation, which I'm not even sure Social Security necessarily does.
Mr. Hayes.
It's certainly true that small businesses are the real engine of our economy, and we have to help promote them. Now, having said that, I think the best thing that we can do in this state in particular is get out of the way. As I talk to small business owners and I'm now meeting voters, they talk about how hard it is here in Massachusetts to get a business up and running, with the regulations they have to go through, the red tape. So we've got a few folks up here that are in the legislature, maybe they can help get some of those rules and regulations out of the way of small business owners. Other than that, I certainly agree with what others have talked about. And in the area of healthcare, it doesn't seem fair at all that big businesses can pool their resources and get the best rates so that they can afford it. But now that we've mandated it here in Massachusetts, we need to find a way to help those small businesses able to do the same thing.
Thank you, Mr. Hayes. Mr. Hayes.
Thank you. I want to thank the hosts, all the people that helped here, and especially the voters for coming out. I hope you were able to learn a little bit from all the candidates as far as where we are on the issues and which candidate you might like to vote for. Now, I know all the focus up to this point in the campaign has been on the 5 politicians and attorneys that are running for the Democratic primary. Now, as I pointed out earlier, after September 4th, there's going to be 1 Democrat and 1 Republican on the ballot for October 16th. There will also most likely be the 2 non-party candidates to my left, well, one's to my left and one's to my right, and I'm in the center. And there will also be me as the independent who's running, so you will be heard. Now, I know there's a lot of frustration in Congress out there. I feel that same frustration, but there is hope. There's hope for an independent that's going to Washington to represent no one but you, the constituents in the 5th District. I look to end the partisan bickering and special interest and focus only on the needs of the 5th District. I appreciate your vote. Please get out and vote on September 4th to determine who's going to join me on the ballot on the Democratic-Republican side, and then vote on October 16th. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hayes.